Coming to the next topic is the mitochondria. All we know, well known about mitochondria, because regarding to mitochondria, we are studying from 7th class onwards. I'm expecting so, because see, every time when we studied about mitochondria, okay, the very first name regarding to the mitochondria is the powerhouse of the cell. Powerhouse of the cell. See, mitochondria called as powerhouse of the cell because mitochondria produces energy. Mitochondria produces energy. Whatever that cells are there, whatever that eukaryotic cells are there, the cells requires energy. The cells requires energy. So the energy production done by the mitochondria. The energy production done by the mitochondria, right? So what is mitochondria? What is the meaning of mitochondria? Here mito indicates thread. Mito indicates here thread, and chondrome indicates granules. There is in thread-like, continuous thread-like granules-like structures are there. These are forms the granules-like structures and continuous thread-like structures So that's the reason why this indicates mitochondria. Mito indicates thread. Chondrome indicates granules, right? So that is about the name of the mitochondria. Coming to the history of the mitochondria, see, the very first identification of the mitochondria done by the Kollikar. See, who first discovered the mitochondria? The scientist name is the Kollikar. Altman is the scientist. He coined the term bioblast regarding to the mitochondria. Okay, Altman, called as bioblast. The first name of the mitochondria here, bioblast. Okay, the name is given by the Altman. Later, Benda is the scientist. He coined the term mitochondria. Who coined the term mitochondria? Benda. Benda is the scientist name. He coined the term mitochondria. Before mitochondrial name, the name of the mitochondria is bioblast. The name of the mitochondria is the bioblast, right? So that is about that mitochondria, right? And history of the mitochondria and the size of the mitochondria. There is a length is there and width is there. For suppose this is the mitochondria. Okay, this is the mitochondria. This is the length of the mitochondria. The length of the mitochondria is 1 to 4.1 micrometers. And this is the width of the mitochondria. Here 0.22 1 micrometer. 1 micrometer. The average here, the average one is the 0.5 micrometers. The average width of the mitochondria is 0.5 micrometers. So that is about the size of the mitochondria. See, based on the type of the cell and type of the organism, the size and the width of the mitochondria is altered. Some cells are small in size, some cells are large in size. Based on the size of the cell and based on the type of the species also, the sizes of the mitochondria, the size of the mitochondria is altered. And shapes of the mitochondria. Some cells having the mitochondria shape is the sausage shape. Okay, some of the mitochondria, cells are there, the cells contains the mitochondria shape is the sausage shape. And some of the mitochondria shape is the cylindrical shape. And some of the mitochondria shape is the filamentous shape, filamentous structure. And some of the mitochondria shape is the granules-like structures. So here what I am telling, that is about the shape or different shapes of the mitochondria. And coming to the next one, see, different species are there. Different species contains mitochondria. Okay, most I said eukaryotic cells contains the mitochondria, but based on the type of the cell, the number of mitochondria are altered. Means some species, some organisms are there. Within organism, for suppose human body, liver cells contain particular number of mitochondria, skin cells contains particular number of mitochondria. So within organism also, based on the type of the tissue, type of the cells, the number of mitochondria per cell is altered. So here the number of mitochondria per cell, the very first one is the microasteria. Microasteria is the algae. What is algae? Most of the students have the doubt here. What is algae? See, during evolution of plants, all we know, during evolution of plants. All we know about the plants, first of all, especially the very first plants are algae. The very first plants are algae, and next plants are bryophytes. Next plants are bryophytes, and next plants are pteridophytes. Next plants are pteridophytes, and next one is the gymnosperms. The next plants are gymnosperms, and the last plants are, means right now the most advanced plants are angiosperms. Angiosperms. So here what I am telling, whatever that very first plants are there, these are called as algae. During plant evolution process, the very first plants are called as algae. So microasteria, that is one of the algae. The algae contains number of mitochondria per cell is 1. The number of mitochondria, especially microasteria, that is one of the algae. The microasteria contains number of mitochondria per cell is 1. And trypanosoma, we know about the protozoans. So trypanosoma, that is the one of the organism, it contains the number of mitochondria per cell is the 1, right? And we know about that liver cells, all we are having that liver cell, right? The liver cells contains the number of mitochondria are 500 to 1000. 500 to 1000. And oocytes are there, especially within that female, oocytes production takes place. The oocytes contains the number of mitochondria are 30,000. The number of mitochondria are 30,000. There is a special characters there. Later we will discuss about the oocytes and the mitochondria significance. And next one is the giant amoeba. The giant amoeba contains the number of mitochondria are 50,000. See, this is the 50,000 number of mitochondria present in the giant amoeba. This is also called chows. The giant amoeba is also called chows. And next one is the flying bird. Flying bird is there. We know about the flying birds are there. Especially the flying bird contains the skeletal muscle. Whatever that wings are there, within that wing part, there is a skeletal muscle is there. The skeletal muscle contains the rich amount of mitochondria. See, one cell of the skeletal muscle, especially in the flying bird, the number of mitochondria are 5 lakhs. The number of mitochondria are 5 lakhs. See, this is the richest number of mitochondria. We are seeing in the birds, especially the wing. The wings contains the skeletal muscle. That is about the number of mitochondria per cell, right? And coming to the next one is the other names of the mitochondria. So here, other names of the mitochondria means mitochondria have different names based on the functions. See, the very first name is the powerhouse of the cell. All we know from 7th class onwards, why mitochondria is the powerhouse of the cell? Because mitochondria produces energy. This is the one of the cell, and this is the nucleus. It contains the genetic material, right? And this is the one of the mitochondria. Mitochondria produces energy in the form of ATP. Mitochondria produces energy in the form of ATP. Here ATP indicates adenosine triphosphate. That is about the ATP. See, ATP is one of the high energy compound, right? So here ATP production done by the mitochondria. That's the reason why mitochondria is called as powerhouse of the cell. And coming to the next one is storage battery of the cell. We know, suppose one of the batteries there, we know about battery involving the storage of electricity. Generally we know about batteries, cells, right? So which are involved in the storage of energy. Okay, that is nothing but electricity, right? See, in the biological system, mitochondria are involved in the storage of energy. See, mitochondria have the capacity to store the energy in the form of ATP. See, one is synthesis of ATP, other one is storage of ATP. That's the reason why here mitochondria are called as storage batteries of the cell. So within cell, the energy is stored in the form of ATP. Okay, that is done by mitochondria. The storage of energy done by the mitochondria. That is about the first 2 points. And coming to the next one, cell within cell. Cell within cell. See here, cell within cell indicates, for suppose this is the one of the this is one of the cell, right? It produces energy. Sorry, this is one of the cell and nucleus, and this is the mitochondria. Mitochondria produces energy in the form of ATP. In the form of ATP. So suppose if mitochondria not produces ATP, what happens? If mitochondria not produces ATP, what happens? See, any cell for the surveillance process, some of the biochemical reactions are takes place. Biochemical reactions are takes place. Biochemical reactions. So, if biochemical reactions are takes place, the cells are survived. Then the biochemical reactions done by the ATP. If ATP is not produced, biochemical reactions are not takes place. Biochemical reactions are not takes place, the cell equivalents to the dead. The cell equivalents to the dead state. So what I am telling here, if mitochondria not produces energy, then there is no metabolic reactions. That one is equals to the dead. Means, see, within dead system, within dead tissues, within dead cells, there is no production of ATP because there is no biochemical reactions. So what I am telling here, if energy production takes place, the cells are survived. If energy production is not takes place, the cells are not survived. One of the finest example in the healthy state. Any person healthy state, okay, the person is very active, right? The same person, if the person having any fever or any injury or any damage within the body or any disease state, that time the person is not active because the person body not suitable for the energy production. Especially the mitochondria are, okay, the mitochondria produces energy. These are slightly inactive, or in some cases that energy utilized for the other purpose. So what I am telling here, mitochondria are involved in the ATP production. If ATP production takes place, the life is maintained. So that's the reason why cell within the cell, the mitochondria is considered as cell within the cell, because mitochondria is the source for the energy. If energy is present, all biochemical reactions are takes place. So life is maintained. If energy is not there, there is no life. That's the reason why here mitochondria are considered as cell within cell. That is about that third point. And semi-autonomous cell organelle. Mitochondria are considered as semi-autonomous cell organelle. Semi means off. Autonomous means independent. Off dependent and off independent. See, we know about this is one of the mitochondria and this is one of the chloroplast. See, the mitochondria and chloroplast. Both are having own DNA. Chloroplast having own DNA and mitochondria also having own DNA. So both the cell organelles, mitochondria and chloroplast, are semi-autonomous cell organelles because which are not completely depends on nucleus. These are partially depends because both are having own genetic material. Chloroplast and mitochondria having own genetic material. That's the reason why mitochondria and chloroplast are called as semi-autonomous cell organelles. Because both are having own genetic material or own DNA, right? And coming to the next one is the endosymbiotic organelles. During evolution process, we discussed about this concept in the first classes. During evolution process, one of the bacteria enter into the inside the eukaryotic cell. That one is modified into the mitochondria. And one of the bacteria enter into the inside the eukaryotic cell. That one is modified into the chloroplast. So the modification done by endosymbiosis process. endosymbiosis process. So by the endosymbiosis process, the mitochondria are evolved, the chloroplasts are evolved. That's the reason why, okay, the mitochondria and chloroplasts both are considered as endosymbiotic cell organelles. Endosymbiotic cell organelles, right? That is about other names of the mitochondria. Other names of the mitochondria, right? Here coming to the next one is the ultra structure of the mitochondria. We already studied in 10th class, maybe the 9th class, right? So this is the ultra structure of the mitochondria. See, this is just peripheral explanation. After this, okay, after this explanation, again we have that detailed explanation regarding to the every part of the mitochondria. This is just peripheral explanation. What are the parts are the present and which functions are performed with the parts, right? So, outer structure of the mitochondria. This is the first one. Mitochondria is the double membrane containing cell organelles. We know mitochondria, chloroplast, and nucleus, which are having double membrane, right? Means double membrane containing cell organelles. So this is one of the mitochondria. Mitochondria having the two membranes. One is the outer membrane, other one is the inner membrane. See, this is the inner membrane. This is the inner membrane. This is the outer membrane. So outer membrane is there, right? And next one is the inner membrane is there. Between these two membranes, there is a space is there. See, between that outer and the inner membranes, there is a space is there. The space is called as perimitochondrial space. Perimitochondrial space. See, the perimitochondrial space richly contains enzymes involving different functions. See, so that is the space. Yeah, this is the space present between that outer and the inner membranes. So this one is called as perimitochondrial space. And whatever that inner membrane is there, the inner membrane, okay, contains some of the folded structures. Inner membrane contains some of the folded structures. These folded structures are called as cristae. Whatever that folded structures are there, these folded structures are called as cristae, right? See, the cristae again having some of the lollipop shape like structures. These are the lollipop shape like structures. See, this is the one of the lollipop shape structure. This is one of the lollipop shape structure. So this one is called as F1 particles. These structures are called as F1 particles. These are also called oxysomes. F1 particles also called oxysomes. And see, the oxysomes, these are also called ATP synthase enzyme. ATP synthase enzyme means the enzyme involving synthesis of ATP. The enzyme involving synthesis of ATP. So ATP synthesis within mitochondria, okay, which part is responsible for the synthesis of ATP? That is ATP synthase enzyme. ATP synthase enzyme located at which part of the mitochondria? Inner membrane of the mitochondria. Inner membrane of mitochondria contains F1 particles. These are also called oxysomes, right? And this is nothing but ATP synthase enzyme. That enzyme are these lollipop shape like structures involving synthesis of ATP. Involving the synthesis of ATP, right? And coming to the next one, 70S ribosomes are present. See, this is one of the evidence the mitochondria evolved from the prokaryotic cells, because these are contains the 70S ribosomes. So this is one of the eukaryotic cell. Within cytoplasm there is an 80S ribosomes are there, but inside the mitochondria 70S ribosomes are present. That's the reason why in a eukaryotic cell there is an 70S and 80S. Both the ribosomes are present. And these are the mitochondria is the semi-autonomous cell organelle, because the mitochondria contains own DNA. Mitochondria contains own DNA. The DNA is the double-stranded. The DNA is the double-stranded. Means two strands are present here. That is the double-stranded DNA. Double-stranded DNA. Right? So here red color dot-like structures are indicates here ribosomes. And this is the one of that structure. This is the double-stranded DNA. Means mitochondria contains own DNA. Right? So here lollipop shape like structures are F1 particles. See, the folded structures are called as cristae. The folded structures are called as cristae. The space between two membranes is called as perimitochondrial space. Perimitochondrial space. This is just peripheral explanation, or peripheral explanation regarding to the mitochondria. And next one, we discuss about the each part of the mitochondria, in detailed explanation regarding to the each part of the mitochondria, right? Coming to the next one, different parts of the mitochondria and functions of different parts of mitochondria, right? So the very first one is the outer membrane. This is the outer membrane of the mitochondria. See, the thickness of outer membrane is 60 to 75 angstroms. The mitochondria outer membrane, the thickness is 60 to 75 angstroms. And the outer membrane is permeable to all the components, means whatever the components which are present in the cytoplasm, all these are easily crosses the outer membrane. Easily crosses the outer membrane. Means here no restriction. The outer membrane of mitochondria not involved in selective permeability, means selective transportation. All the molecules are easily crosses the outer membrane of mitochondria. Means permeable to all the components. Permeable to all the components. And the outer membrane made up of with phosphatidylcholine. Phosphatidylcholine. This is one type of lipid. This is one type of lipid. So the phosphatidylcholine majorly involved in the formation of outer membrane of the mitochondria, right? So this is also called lysine. The phosphatidylcholine, that is also called lysine. Phosphatidylcholine, that is also called lysine. So the outer membrane of mitochondria majorly formed by the phosphatidylcholine, right? And less percentage of proteins are present within outer membrane. Very less percentage of proteins are present. So within mitochondria, outer membrane is there. There is a rich percentage of phosphatidylcholine is present, and less percentage of proteins are present, and it's permeable. Right? The thickness is 60 to 75 angstroms. That is about the outer membrane. Coming to the next one, inner membrane. This is a very important structure in the entire mitochondria. Okay, why I will explain. See, the thickness is 60 to 75 angstroms. Here also same thing. Okay, outer membrane and the inner membrane both are having 60 to 75 angstroms. Right? Here there is a selective permeable. This is a selective permeable membrane. This one is the selective permeable membrane. Right? Here selective permeable membrane means selective molecules are transported. Only the inner membrane allows the selective molecules. It allows only the selective molecules. All components are not transported. Selective molecules are transported. So inner membrane is selective permeable membrane. And this is richly made with cardiolipins. Okay, richly made with the lipids. Here type of lipids are phosphatidylcholine. Here type of lipids are cardiolipids. More proteins are present. In the inner membrane, more proteins are present. Within inner membrane, there is a rich percentage of proteins are present. Right? Here, less percentage of proteins are present. See, here these proteins are electron transport chain. Whatever that the mitochondria contains, inner membrane is there. This is the inner membrane. Within inner membrane, there is an electron transport chain is present. This is the complex 1, and this is the complex 2, and this is the complex 3, right? And this is the complex 4, right? So this is complex 5. This is ATP synthase enzyme. So what I am telling here, inner membrane of mitochondria contains electron transport chain. See, what is the use of electron transport chain? Electron transport chain, the name indicates it transfers the electrons. And involved in synthesis of ATP. So whatever that inner membrane is there, the inner membrane contains lollipop shaped like structures. This is the lollipop shaped like structures. These are called as F1 particles. These are called as oxysomes. And this is nothing but ATP synthase enzyme, right? Which are, okay, especially this enzyme involved in the synthesis of ATP. So what I am telling here, the inner membrane of mitochondria is very important one. The inner membrane of mitochondria is very important one. This one involving, okay, especially the inner membrane contains lollipop shape like structures, okay, and electron transport chain proteins. Electron transport chain proteins. All these are involving synthesis of ATP. All these are involving synthesis of ATP. So that is about the inner membrane of mitochondria. Inner membrane of mitochondria. So inner membrane also contains lipids. These are called cardiolipids. These are called cardiolipids, right? So the proteins, rich proteins are there, which are especially involved in the electron transport chain. Which are especially involved in the electron transport chain. Coming to the next one is the perimitochondrial space. Coming to the next one is the perimitochondrial space. Here the space, here 80 to 100 angstroms. The space, especially the space contains that measurement is 80 to 100 angstroms. That is the perimitochondrial space. So this is the outer membrane, this is the inner membrane. Between these two there is in space is there. Okay, this is the space. This space especially, okay, the measurement is here 80 to 100 angstroms. So that space richly contains the enzymes. Okay, the perimitochondrial space richly contains the enzymes. And some of the enzymes are involved in fatty acid oxidation. Fatty acid oxidation. Fatty acid oxidation is nothing but, okay, fats digestion, fats breakdown process, not digestion, fats breakdown process. So that is also nothing but fat digestion, but at molecular level. So this is one of the fatty acid molecule. We are eating food. We are eating food. The food contains fats. The fats are digested. After the digestion, absorbed. After the absorption, okay, the fats are involved in energy production. How energy production takes place? The fats especially breaking down. The fats are breaking down. The fats are broken down by a group of enzymes. A group of enzymes. These enzymes are especially present. These enzymes are especially present within perimitochondrial space. Perimitochondrial space. Then the each fragment of the fatty acid, the each fragment or each bit involved in the energy production. Each bit involved in the energy production. So the each bit or the fats are oxidized into, the fats are broken down into acetyl-CoA. The fats are broken down into acetyl-CoA. Then acetyl-CoA involved in the energy production. Acetyl-CoA involved in the energy production. So what I am telling here, there is an outer membrane is there, inner membrane is there, right? Perimitochondrial space is there. These are the three structures. These are the three structures and different functions. Right? That is about the perimitochondrial space, right? Coming to the next part, means after that outer membrane, after the inner membrane, perimitochondrial space. See, the fold structures are called as cristae. After that, inside the inner membrane, there is a fluid-like substance is present. The fluid-like substance is called as matrix. The fluid-like substance is called as matrix. See, the mitochondria inside, means inside the inner membrane, there is a yellow color fluid-like substance is present. That one is called as matrix. Sir, why the matrix having yellow color? Because matrix contains one of the vitamin, riboflavin. So the presence of riboflavin, the matrix exhibit yellow color. So the presence of riboflavin, the matrix exhibit the yellow color, right? So that is about the reason. Okay, regarding to the matrix color is the yellow color. And coming to the next one is carbohydrates are present, proteins are present, lipids are present inside the mitochondria, means inside to the inner membrane within the matrix. There is a carbohydrates are there, proteins are there, lipids are present, right? Along with that substances, zinc mineral, zinc, magnesium, calcium, like different types of minerals are present. Majorly zinc, magnesium and calcium. In that, major one is the calcium. Major one is the calcium, right? So some of the minerals are present within the matrix. Some of the minerals are present within the matrix. The best example, zinc, magnesium, calcium. In these, okay, the major one is the calcium. And the mitochondria involved in the storage of calcium. The mitochondria, especially the matrix, involved in the storage of calcium. right? And we discussed within the eukaryotic cell there is an 70S ribosomes are there. Within eukaryotic cell 70S ribosomes are there. The 70S ribosomes are here. There is an 50S subunit is present and 30S subunit is present, right? This is about eukaryotic cells, and mitochondria contains the 70S ribosomes. But some of the mammalian cells or the mammal cells contains the mitochondria. The mitochondria having the type of ribosomes are 55S. The type of ribosomes are 55S. Some of the mammalian cells contains the ribosomes are not 70S. The ribosomes are 55S. And these are having two subunits. One is 39S subunit, this is the large subunit, and other one is the 28S subunit. So here two subunits are there. One is that 39 subunit, other one is the 28S subunit. So this is about that mammalian mitochondria contains ribosomes which are 55S, not 70S here, right? And inside that matrix, okay, within that matrix there is a double-stranded DNA is present. This is the double-stranded DNA, right? See, the double-stranded DNA, this is also called eukaryotic plasmid. Eukaryotic plasmid. Why these are called as eukaryotic plasmids? We know plasmids are extrachromosomal circular double-stranded DNAs. Extrachromosomal circular double-stranded DNAs, and which are present in eukaryotic cell. These are present in eukaryotic cell. That's the reason why these are called as eukaryotic plasmids. Means here chloroplast and mitochondria. Chloroplast and mitochondria. Both are contains own DNA. These are eukaryotic plasmids. These are eukaryotic plasmids, right? That is about the matrix. Right?